Hello, welcome to another edition of Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. If you like this video, please push like and share with your family, friends, neighbors, enemies, etc. By the way, I am starting a Patreon page. It'll be or account, whatever. It's already up. It was there before, so it's a relaunch. It will be going starting September the 1st, 5 days a week, live streams. I'll pick the time here soon, and I'm going to be writing on that. So my whole little journalist, so I used to do journalism. So instead of doing that for a publication, I'm going to put it on my Patreon page. I have a hard time with that word. Anyway, so today I'm talking about a guy by the name of George Taylor. Before I do, let me back up a minute. For everybody, for all you people who have been in prison, do you recall a time that you have seen a guy or a girl or whoever that was like totally wacko over their prison job? A lot of times, especially in maximum security prison where guys are doing long periods of time or life, their job or their area becomes everything, and specifically job. So you got jobs like in the laundry, guys have like a laundry hustle. There was a dude named Chicky, an old mob guy from Philadelphia named Chicky at Lewisburg, and he was completely obsessed with the washing machine down in Hobbycraft area. So they took the washing machines out of all the units, and there was one in the Hobbycraft area, and Chicky was just lost his mind over the washing machine. It was like he had to guard it. You had to ask him if you can go to it. I mean, that was his washing machine, I'm trying to think of a few other people before I talk about Taylor that were just, Chicky, I just remember was so whacked out. Unicorn guys that work Unicorn get certain spots, clerk jobs, or Q&A or whatever. They get good jobs. They don't want to lose it, so they become like whacked out about it, okay? George Taylor was a man, when I met him in his 70s, from, I believe, Indiana. And I'm sorry, I wanted the facts straight. I reached out to some friends I did time with that knew Taylor too. And we all think it's Indiana. He was a bank robber. Taylor had 2 boys that robbed banks with him. It could have been 3. It's another issue. And I just thought I could have done a Google search. I swear to God. But I'm going with this. That doesn't take away from this story. George had been down a long time, and by the way, nobody called him George. We called him Wolf. Why Wolf? Because he looked like a wolf. He really did. Not the neatest kept guy in the world, but just his face, the pointy face, glasses. That's not making fun of him. He did. I mean, he liked the nickname Wolf. Wolf was an avid book reader. I'm talking, this guy loved to read. So he poured his whole existence into getting books sent in from his family member, his daughter, I believe, and reading them and like keeping a library of them. He also would send them back out for a library one day when he got home. I think that's how he put it, or it could have just been for the family. But I mean, book a day for sure. And he liked everything. I think he liked a lot of that fantasy stuff is what he really liked. But if you name a book, he knew the author, title. I mean, if you even just try to describe it to him, he knew it. I worked in the law library at FCI Terre Haute in 2014, I believe it was. And Wolf was in the block with me in C block, and they needed a library clerk. So there was desks, there was a law library clerk, there was a library clerk. So the first person I thought of was Wolf. There's like nobody else better. And I went to him, and he kind of was comfortable in his existence in the cell, just reading his books, getting his books sent in and whatnot. And he kind of hesitated at first. Now, let me tell you something. The library at FCI Terre Haute, before he got there, was in disarray. Just books shoved in wherever. Nobody cared. And people would walk out with them. There was no order. So books were always missing, was half empty. And Wolf got the job. He got in there, asked the whoever was in charge if he can take over and start organizing stuff. And they said they didn't care. And let me tell you, He went on like I want to say 2-year mission. I was going to say no. He was on a mission to fix that library from the time he started until the time of his death, which I will get to. So what Wolf did is he started making everybody take books out, check them out. A lot of people bucked at first. They didn't want to do it. They weren't used to it. They got mad at him. And he was an older guy. He's not going to fight nobody. So he'd bitch out loud, but he wasn't going to do nothing. So he just went ahead, let people do what they did, take the books. But after a while, other guys started seeing that Wolf was serious about really getting that library in shape. And they started getting on anybody who was trying to leave with books. The prisoners would say something. Hey man, don't take that book. Go check that book out from that old man, and stuff like that. Eventually, he started putting books of his own in the library. He got people to donate books. He got the staff interested in getting us more books. He played a really big role in changing that library as far as getting up to tip-top shape. And like I said, I was there from 2012. Actually, it was 15 he did it. So for the first 3 years, but it was just it was horrible. That library was shit. Anyway, so Wolf also had heart problems. He had medical problems. I think he had diabetes. He was a skinny guy, but he had a 20-year sentence, I believe, and I don't think he ever really thought that he was going to get out of prison. He wasn't one of those guys where hope sprang eternal. I think every once in a while he would talk about it, but several times he went out to the outside hospital because he had a heart attack. And like I said, he had a bad heart. So, I forgot how many heart attacks he had, and he'd be out for a period of time. And when he would come back, he would freak out because the library was a mess. The shelves were all unorganized. So he started doing like romance, fiction. Like he had that all down. A numerical order. I think he did numerical orders, as a matter of fact. He went out of his way. So he'd come back and he'd just lose his mind. He'd stay in there after hours. So let's say he was only supposed to work 4 or 6 hours a day or whatever. He went first call in the morning and he would leave the last person at night. That library became his life. And that's what he did. And I look at it, and what it really is when people do that, prisoners, inmates, convicts, whatever, it's a sense of control. They don't have, I'm sorry, looking at a dog. It's a sense of control. I think you don't have control over anything else, so they kind of embed themselves with what they do have, and some of them go too far with it. I was a person that was like all about myself. I was a good cellie. I was very respectful. Very few times did I ever have a problem or get into it. And Sean, if you're watching this, you can attest to that. Sean didn't want to leave. Anyway, I saw Wolf deteriorating. I can see that his health was getting bad. His skin color was getting bad. He was looking pale. And I knew he'd been out to the hospital, just the year before, whatever. And I went up to him and I said, Wolf, I think you need some medical attention. And he said, I know, but these books, I don't want these son of a bitches to, And I was like, Wolf, really? Like you're going to die. He then got in and he's like, Robert, I'm an old man. They told me that there's nothing really left they can do for my heart anyway. And I just don't want to go back out there no more. He said, I just hate it in the outside hospital. A lot of people don't realize that. Inmates hate to go out there and stay. I was one of them. I couldn't wait to get back. And sometimes I was in a good hospital. That was for my bladder stuff. But Wolf, he was talking about he hated to leave and not be able to get back to his job. And I remember a couple times when they wouldn't let him go right back to work, he had to get medically cleared, and he'd just flip out. He was just freaking out. So I forgot the date, but I know it was right before or right during the first part of COVID. So it was in 2021. And Wolf went walking down the hall to medical. He got dizzy, and he was still telling people that he didn't want to go to the hospital. He didn't want to really go to medical. I think the staff made him go, and as he was walking, he dropped, and that was the end of Wolf. And he was a guy who truly died for his job, and that's the truth. He might have had heart problems. They might have told him there's nothing left they can do, but he didn't go nowhere because of that.